We love, we cry, we have news for you right here, right now. Greetings Romies and welcome to RomRom.net, the channel sharing the joy of sim racing, and to a regular news roundup. Welcome to the channel, thanks for stopping by. My name is Serta and I will be your host for this video. If you have any news for us, send us a mail to news@romrom.net. After last week's overdose of news, this week was more calm, but not without news, because then we would not be here, right? RaceRoom went one step further with their April Fool's joke of the shopping carts, with a new and improved version of them you can get for free and race. And SCS announced they would be porting their truck simulator to the ZX Spectrum. And the screenshots looked too real, as somebody who played on the Specky till morning came and who still owns his good old friend, that looked very much like real screens. Maybe I should offer myself as beta tester? And in any case, at last, Test Drive Unlimited will bring the pinnacle of car design, the bestest, mostest, belovedest car of all times, the Multipla. Those who already own the Gen 2 Formula E pack will get this update for free. Those who don't may be moved to buy it, as rFactor 2 just released all the skins and names for the 2021-22 season of Formula E and updated the pack to fit the updated power rules of the series, so now the maximum power in practice will be 250 kilowatt and in qualifying 220 kilowatt, which is also the maximum for the race unless you are using the attack mode, which gives you 30 kilowatt more or 3 minutes. Furthermore, Formula E is launching the Accelerate Formula E eSports series, which to nobody's surprise will be using rFactor 2 and the rFactor 2 competition platform. That was not what we were expecting. Racing sims are being offered in sales left and right, and there was that humble bundle we posted about in our Discord, which we expected to raise the numbers of sim racers in the last month markedly. Instead, we see a steady, if ever so slight, decrease in the overall numbers, as well as a decrease in most of the usage of racing sims. Wreckfest being the only exception, and it's not a full sim, but still tons of fun, let nobody tell you differently. While the decrease for Assetto Corsa or Assetto Corsa Competizione is not really that big, and not as significant as, say, BeamNG, it's still a decrease. But on the other hand, let's keep it real, the decrease is slight, the overall number is somewhere within the median, BeamNG is still the most used, Assetto Corsa trumps the rest by far, followed by Assetto Corsa Competizione, business almost as usual. We get it. Pandemic restrictions are being eased, sun is shining, and there's other things occupying people's minds. As this is already the second month in a row of dwindling numbers, it may be the start of a trend that'll last until whenever winter hits the northern hemisphere, or not. Let's wait another month. And hey, it's 1 year since we started collecting and comparing the data, and based on the numbers 1 year ago, we can say the overall numbers look good. Assetto Corsa is still on a healthy grow, bigger than Assetto Corsa Competiciones. Automobilista 2 also has seen some growth, while the numbers of RaceRoom and rFactor 2 are on decline, as the numbers for Dirt Rally 2 and Wreckfest. Oh well, everything's in movement, everything changes, right? While we suppose the bulk of the team is already working on F1 2022, possibly designing the watches you will be able to buy in it if the rumors turn out to be true, there seems to be at least a skeleton crew fixing issues with the 2021 version of the game, which seems to have abandoned the Codemasters label completely and is now directly under EA labeling. In any case, this week saw the release of version 1.17, correcting some minor and major bugs, like players not being able to race if they joined the session during the quali grace period, or grid penalties not carrying over from sessions in leagues. You can now choose the famous Red Bull white livery as yours in your car, the silent winning voiceover issue that sometimes you didn't hear has been fixed, as well as the blank screen you sometimes got when R&D was completed or when it failed. If you had issues with your Fanatec CSL DD pedals, try again now, it seems they have been solved. Well, what do you know, there's yet again another sale for you to get your hands on dirt cheap games and DLCs. This time it's Steam's Simfest until tomorrow, so you may want to be quick. These are our recommendations out of an incredible number of offers. Assetto Corsa Competizione is available for under €14 and the DLCs, other than the newest one, reduced by 40 to 60%. Great price, great offer, incredible sound, immersion and force feedback. Wreckfests for €12 with DLCs reduced by 50%. Get the 2 seasons passes and you'll be set, but be aware they only bring cars. Wreckfest's the best way to decompress after an intensive multiplayer race on Assetto Corsa Competizione. Something different but surely worth your while. You can now get Motorsport Manager for €3 or better even, get the complete bundle with all the DLCs for under €6 and you'll spend insane amounts of time for this money. I know I did. Really worth it if you like motorsports. We move now to the slowest sim racing there is. Get SnowRunner for under €20 and you may want to get the seasons passes, which expand the amount of maps and tasks. You know we love to drive these and you may like them too. Euro Truck Simulator 2 and American Truck Simulator are available for €5 as well as many of the DLCs for reductions between 10% and 70% of the nominal price. Very nice sale with good prices, I must say. If we wouldn't have all of these already, we'd be buying like crazy. The easiest way to get a multiplayer server running, JustRace.net, got an extensive update last week. You can now set your server up so that the update of the server sim as well as the update of the Just Race server manager are done automatically and you don't have to frantically update shortly before the race because you forgot to do it beforehand. Automobilista 2 practice servers are now fully supported and the configuration of the Just Race server manager's port can be changed within the interface. Keeping with Automobilista 2, the generation of the log files has been improved and the result files for all sims are now always linked to the scheduled events, other than for Race Room because of limitations of the sim. Also, each sim server you set up will use its own copy of Steam CMD for better fault tolerance, and the automatic start of the Just Race server manager at boot is now enabled by default. Of course, the team of unpaid volunteers that keep Just Race running have also dedicated some time to bug fixes, the most notable ones having to do with Race Room servers as well as Automobilista 2, but also within the support of Automobilista, the first one. All this to make it extremely easy to set up a race server and just race. Great software on the way to becoming excellent. If you like this video and would like to see more, consider becoming a patron, thus letting us spread our wings. Amongst other perks, it will fix your name for posterity like this. A big thank you to our patrons. If you come here regularly, please consider subscribing. In the last minute of the last hour, so to speak, to just make it into our news, yesterday evening, Razer published their development update. And it's even the first one of the year. Things have been quite bonkers in Razer land. The very important news is that Razer plans to continue working on Automobilista 2 for at least a couple of years, and that they are in a healthy place financially, even being able to expand the team and work on getting new licenses. The situation forced one of their developers to move from Russia to Brazil, worse vodka, better climate I'd say, while one of the others worked from the war-torn Kiev. We wish both and any people suffering from this war all the best and that they stay safe. And you can imagine who we wish a pox on. But all of this has clearly put a strain on the work Reza has been doing, as their time and their minds could not be 100% on the software. While he doesn't say anything precise, Renato Simeoni, Reza's head honcho, comments on having changed the way the company does software development so as to make things more efficient and have the team be able to work more relaxed. Therefore, Reza won't be releasing a roadmap for the whole year, as the times are too fluid to call them something at the moment. One important thing they are going to do from now on is to first release new updates as a Steam beta a couple of days before the official release, much like Studio 397 have been doing with rFactor 2 lately, to allow for users to test and report bugs if they are so willing. You will have to do this over and over again though, as they are going to close the betas every time the official release happens. Another change will be that you will now be able to revert to the version before the newest official one in case you encounter any issues with the new one. These two changes are not activated yet, but will be soon after their newest version, scheduled for some time before or until next Sunday sees the light of the day. Moving on to the sim. Reza are keeping their promise to release a historic version of the Nürburgring this year, as they are working on the 1971 version of the track. This version will be free of charge to anyone that paid for a DLC that had any version of Nürburgring in it. And while you will have to wait longer until you get the 1970 version of Spa, it's only because they are working on a 2022 version of the track, again free of charge for anyone owning any DLC with Spa in it. According to the actual plans, remember the fluid times though, the third part of the Racing USA DLC, concentrated on the world of ovals, will come out at the end of July. And what do you do if you're a company obsessed with racing and sim racing and have more content licenses that fit in 3 DLCs? You offer your fans a special treat and get to work on a 4th bonus DLC for Racing USA, which will be free of cost to all those who already have the rights to race Racing USA 1 to 3, because Reza, am I right? Don't get your hopes too high though, this 4th DLC won't be out until the beginning of 2023. The rest of the expected DLCs is still planned for release this year. But we don't need to look that far. Expected before next Sunday are the Formula Ultimate Gen 2. If the form looks familiar, it's because it should. Based on the 22 regulations of a well-known open-wheeler series, you will now be able to try to make the races on those interesting, maybe by avoiding all the tilke crap and racing on real tracks, or by having all drivers use the same car and having the drivers count, not the cars. Working on those from war-ravaged Kiev no less, Slava Ukraini, led to some changes in the way Automobilista 2 handles the ERS, revising the turbo model for the V6 engine, adding a completely new sound set to these motors, and revising how drafting works in the sim. If open-wheelers are not that much of your thing, as we all expected, Reza got the rights for the Stock Car Pro Series 2022. Remember, one of the earliest products by Reza was Copa Petrobras de Marca, after all, and this time it not only means getting the new cars and liveries, but also a new track, as the Galeão Airport temporary track in Rio de Janeiro had not been part of the series for the last 10 years, but it will be in 2022. We're sure that Reza is especially proud to be able to present the track on the sim before the event takes place on the 10th of April. As with the Formula Ultimate, this series has seen some changes that subsequently brought changes in the sim, as the new stock cars brought updates in the tire physics and specifically the tire carcass physics within the sim. Changes that, as with the Formula Ultimate, will be part of the core physics of the sim, making it better. And now comes the shocker. Unlike other sims, see the link up there, these 3 updates come free of charge as additions to the core of the sim. No need to spend $10 to $15 extra on each car. and track, and no need to spend any money to watch more videos sharing the joy of sim racing. Just check the playlist to the left or the video to the right. Until next time, save fuel, collect pickup, and we'll see each other on the podium.